And the suspect will be formally charged today. The Washington Post reporting that he confessed to the murder online. This message allegedly sent via online chat platform Discord to about 30 people. And apparently he wrote, "It was me at UVA yesterday. I'm surrendering." The confession posted approximately 2 hours before an arrest was made. Joining me now is Arkansas Congressman Rick Crawford. He is the chairman of the House Intelligence Committee. Mr. Chairman, thank you so much for being here. What can you tell us about all of this?
Well, I've got some problems with social media in general, but this particular platform, Discord, is very troubling. And then, the way he went around, if this is accurate, the way he went about posting that it was him, it's almost as if he has achieved some level of hero status among those followers that he has and among that group that supports violence. And so we've got deeper problems than we realize. And I think Devin, in the segment that you aired, is right. I think we need to follow the money. And I think the Vice President and Stephen Miller are right that we're going to bring everything we have to bear against this problem.
So, Mr. Chairman, what does that mean in terms of legislation and what actually you can do about it? Because I know that the discussion of Section 330 has been rising among the Congress, Senate, as well as the House. What do you want to do in terms of Section 330, which, of course, allows social media to not have any liability for what's on their platforms?
Well, I think that's a real problem, and social media has become a platform for what we used to think of was inner monologue. These were some of the deepest, darkest thoughts you may have but never verbalize. And now all of a sudden, I shouldn't say all of a sudden, over the last few years, we've seen social media platforms have become sort of a forum for inner monologue. That's not what inner monologue is all about. I mean, and when you have that kind of thing going on, you've got others that will act as a result. So what do we need to do about it? You mentioned it, Section 330. Are we going to just completely allow social media providers, service providers, to basically have no culpability in any of this? I mean, they provide the platform. Does that mean that they receive, special treatment with no liability? I think that's being revisited. I think the other things that we need to think about are, a full review of what tools are necessary. What tools do we have in the toolbox? We just passed the IAA, the Intelligence Authorization Act, with some pretty serious reforms. We think that will enhance our ability to go after problems like this. It's primarily going after foreign influence, foreign intelligence, and things like that. But where those overlap and intersect, we need to be diligent about rooting those out.
I mean, it's worthwhile to consider the fact that increasing numbers of people get their news from social media. They're getting their news from TikTok, from possibly Discord and Facebook, et cetera. So why is it that these social media companies are not liable for anything when, in fact, actual news organizations, Fox, the other networks, they're liable for what's on their platform?
Right. Well, I think we need to recognize that what you just said, most people these days do consume their news via some social media app.
Right.
And if they're engaged in presenting news, they should be treated like a news outlet or stop presenting news. So it's just that simple. I mean, so we can't necessarily police what an individual posts on there, but these entities that are posing as news providers need to have the same standard of conduct that you at Fox or CNN or MSNBC or anywhere else would have.
Right. Well, we'll be watching your work on Section 330 for sure. I know it's an important issue that you're all dealing with, but let me switch gears, ask you about the U.S. military officers observing joint war games between Russia and Belarus on Monday. Tensions, of course, are rising with NATO now after Russia sent drones into Poland and Poland shot down Russian drones entering the airspace last week. I spoke with the Secretary of State of Poland yesterday on this program. Watch. The officials in Belarus, which of course is a Russian ally, claimed that the drones entered Polish airspace by mistake. You do not believe this was a mistake?
No, we do not believe that it was a mistake. Of course, there were hundreds of drones heading towards Ukraine, and many of them already hit the target in Ukraine, or they were eliminated by Ukrainian air forces. But those 21 drones, they were not by mistake in Poland. It was a on-purpose step taken by Russia, and we are 100% sure of that.
So, Mr. Chairman, what should we make of this? Putin sending drones into Poland, also Romania. I know that there weren't weapons on that. They're calling them duds. But what is Putin trying to do now? Test whether NATO is going to react?
I think that's exactly what he's trying to do. What can I get away with? What can I do? How far can I go before I potentially elicit a response from NATO under Article 5? And I think this is a dangerous position for him to be in. I mean, you know, you hear President Trump is already trying to very aggressively urge the EU to tighten up with regard to sanctions on Russia, stop buying Russian oil, things like this. And so the EU is probably looking at this going, this puts a lot more pressure on us to act a little more decisively with regard to Russia. And I think that they are, you know, this is typical Vladimir Putin playbook where he probes the boundaries, literally and figuratively, what can he get away with? And that was, I think that was this act.
Unbelievable. Yeah. Mr. Chairman, good to talk with you this morning. I so appreciate your time.
You bet. You bet.
Thank you. Congressman Rick Crawford in Washington. We'll be right back. Stay with us.